Oh, I just disappeared. Hi. Well, welcome everyone to the very first ever episode of Sisters of the Corn. I want to introduce everyone to my sister Ralene, who's on our split screen, and my name is Shana. And we want to bring to you all of our fiber love and fiber experiences and fiber fun to share, and hopefully learn some things along the way, meet new people, find new projects, and just have a great time connecting as sisters.
Yay!
Yeah. We have another sister. Her name is Deidre, and she's not on here right now. She's not really into crafts too much. She's very into horses and reading books. Not so much yarn, but we're going to work on her. Every episode, we're going to try and come up with something that we could get her to do. Would you agree?
Definitely. Yes, definitely.
All right. So a little background. Let's see. Why don't you go first, Ralene? Do you want me to ask you questions, or do you just want to talk about your
I guess I'll talk. I can talk a little bit about stuff, and then if you think of questions, feel free to just throw them out there.
That sounds good.
So I joined a knitting group at McDaniel College. We were the McDaniel Knitters that existed until fairly recently because life happens and people retire and all of that stuff. But one of the first things that we did, and this was probably 15 years ago, we all went down on a field trip to the Maryland Sheep and Wool Festival, and that's where I got in trouble. As I saw these adorable lambs in halters being shown in a show ring, and they were so cute and bouncy, and I'm like, I don't know what those are, but I want some. So I ended up finding some local Jacob breeders. I bought 3 wethers, or the neutered males, and then I ended up with something like 4 ewes and a ram, a freebie from a friend. Oh, and the next year I had 12. Wow. And then one year things really got out of hand, and I think I had something like 50 lambs alone, and found out that though this is really a hardy breed, that's overstocking my pastures. So
no doubt.
Yeah. But between the knitting and all of the women that were in my knitting group, several of them are very advanced knitters, do steeks and things like that. The scary steeks. Yeah. But Randy and I wanted to get this farm. And interestingly, we weren't looking really, but this farm went up for sale about the time I was buying my sheep. And we ended up putting our little log cabin on the market and sold it in 5 weeks and bought this place and moved here. Wow. We've been here since.
And your place it's historic, isn't it? Or it's
not formally researched, okay. But probably we're placing the house probably in the 1850s, maybe 1870s. It's been a little interesting. There's a lot of technical stuff you have to know to work with the historical societies. I don't get their landscaping terms or whatever you call it, how they know the land was divided then and now and everything. But yeah, it's split off. We have 10 acres, a little over 10 acres. The original farm was split off. There was actually someone renting here for a long time before. Wow. And so I have this huge, beautiful barn that, the huge wood beams that are more than a foot square. So just an incredible thing. And let's see what else. So, and then the people that I bought the sheep from and the house from, we actually had sheep in our closing contract. We rode over with so, because I ended up buying some more of her flock.
You are plentiful with the sheep.
Yeah, definitely. At least I didn't get something like the Finn sheep who can have 4 or 5 babies. Oh. Mine tend to twin, but still.
So what is your flock called?
My flock is called Blue Flower Flock, okay. Because the original registered sheep name here for the woman that owned this before me, Katrina Lefevre, was Blue Flower Flock, was Chicory Lane
Chicory.
Fla-
Ooh,
and so the flowers kind of blue, and that was my best effort to come up with a separate registration name.
how many do you have right now in your flock?
I'm at 35 right now. About 5 of those are young yearling rams, and the rest are ewes. Some of them are, I think there might be 5 yearling ewes this year, but the rest are prime girls. I
Really?
love my ewes.
Well, one of my friends, I was asking them, do you have any questions that I could ask? Some sheep questions, because they're all very, they're so curious. They just can't wait to hear talking about everything. And
Mhm.
my friend Dinah asked, well, how did you pick Jacob? How did that come to be?
Mainly only just because I saw them at the
Okay.
festival, and I had no idea. I had never seen polycerate sheep, meaning multi-horns, more than one set. They were spotted. They were a little smaller. They
Oh,
just, I just thought they were so cool because they were so different.
oh,
And then I found out they're primitive, meaning they're more like the original goat sheep common ancestor,
that.
um, which I thought was really cool.
Uh-oh,
Um,
dog barking alert. If you think you might, my dogs are, sorry, a UPS truck is going by, and they're sheep.
oh,
Oh, yeah.
exciting times.
Oh, wait just a second here. They're pretty loud. They sound like monsters. So I'll cut this part out, maybe. Maybe not.
My dogs were out in the kennel because they were all a little too boisterous. Thus my injured ankle.
Oh no. So we have to talk about that, but we'll give them a second here. Yeah, you're not being good. I could, uh, I'd holler at him, but that microphone is right there, and it's gonna go right in your ear. Okay, all done. Come on, let's go. Come on, Buffy. So that was Blue and Buffy. Here,
Also members.
just gonna see if you can see. There's.
Aww.
And wait, here's Buffy. Oh, she's right. Well, you're not gonna be able to see her. She's just moving. She looks just like him, about 50 pounds lighter. So, okay, there we go. All right. Well, anyways, I'll cut that out. So let's see. So you've got about 35 in your flock.
And I don't know if you've heard of the American Life. Ignore the phone. I don't answer that.
There with us, the first time.
Nobody ever calls me. Nobody ever comes. Really.
And
But
that never happens here either.
So there's this group out there called the American Livestock Conservancy, or that might be a little dated. I think they just changed their name a bit, but they're basically trying to save a lot of farm breeds that were almost lost, that one became very rare when the U.S. went all standardized, mechanized after World War II. A whole bunch of diversity in the farm breeds almost went totally gone. And so the Jacobs were originally part of that group, and it wasn't until I think the 70s that the Jacob sheep breeders took over the flock book and became a thing. And there's a lot of really cool people in there. They're really open with information on how to help a newbie take care of sheep.
Think of all the things that you've dealt with, lambs,
Exactly.
lambs, things that affect the already living sheep, the sicknesses and all that.
Yeah. And that's one really cool thing about the Jacobs. I didn't know it when I got them, but they're very hardy. They need, I think in the whole time we've been doing this, and I don't really know how long, 14 years maybe.
Wow.
I've only helped a ewe twice.
Oh, really? Twice?
Yeah.
14 years.
They don't need it.
What time of year are they born? Is
it? They will be born if I have my way and the rams stay where I put them, which has not happened the last couple of years. Normally, I put the rams and the ewes together after Thanksgiving, which means I'll have lambs middle of April. And then my sheep are sheared in March, and that's the safe time for the moms to be sheared.
Oh, so
But
they're shearing the pregnant ones. Oh.
But what happens when the breeding season for the girls is actually from August to maybe as long as January.
Really?
And so I had some lambs arrive early January, which is not, and in February, that's not really when I want them born, but the moms are good moms.
They're good moms. Oh, well, I have, so my mother-in-law and father-in-law, he just passed away, but they have a farm, and they have, gosh, maybe they have 25. I don't know if it's that many. Maybe not now. They've kind of decreased their flock a little bit, but they have, I'm gonna have to look up what their breeds are. I can't remember what their breeds are, but nothing like a Jacob. I thought Finn was in there, but they're kind of mixed. I have some pictures I'll have to get up, but they've had a lot of trouble this last year where the lambs, their moms didn't want them, and then they have to go and bottle feed them. And,
oh yes.
And then they had something bad happen to the lambs. A couple of them died. They just were sick, died right away. But
that's not the fun part of the sheep thing. It happens.
It's sad, yeah. My knowledge of their sheep is limited to, oh, that's cute. I don't know all the terminology about the breeds and things like that, but I sure like them. They're very cute.
And did I see is that where the pony that you had pictures of is there as well?
They have a pony named Shadow. So they have probably about the same amount of acreage as you do, about 10 to 13 acres, and they have chickens, geese. They used to have pigs, and it's
wow.
It's a fun experience. Do you have other things besides?
Normally yes, but for some weird reason, probably because of foxes who've eaten probably 100 of my birds over the whole time I've lived here. Really? I cannot seem to make a predator-proof run for my coops. Right at the minute, I have no turkeys and no chickens, which is freaking me out. But again, the primitive breed saving kind of thing, I've raised Brahma chickens, the light ones and the dark ones, which I order from a hatchery in Iowa, which is so fun.
We're from Nebraska. We make jokes.
Let's see, and bourbon red turkeys.
Oh, neat.
And they're such cool birds. I had no idea.
Oh, wow. So what do you think is going to be next for you to acquire then as your birds?
If I can myself, when my husband is here and not in Madagascar, the Bahamas during the school breaks, and the young fellow that's been doing some hourly work for me, if they can help me rebuild one of the coops or build a brand new run on another, I want to get more birds.
Oh yeah. Well, and now you're retired.
So maybe I really have the time to do these things.
Do you want to touch on what you retired from?
Oh, yes, that would be good. I am a former biology professor, associate professor at McDaniel College. I taught biology courses. My specialty is parasitology. No, not ESP, parasitology. I hear that a lot. So,
what do you think about that? Oh.
I have had people ask me that in all seriousness.
Really? There's always.
And I also taught things like immunology and epidemiology, so all about infection, how to get infected, disease moving through populations, that whole thing. I've had research students every summer. They were undergraduate only, but it was just the best thing ever. It was just wonderful.
That's awesome.
But I don't want time. I have lots of things to do.
Well, you have your farm and things too.
Yeah. What insanity was that, thinking I could be a full-time college professor and a full-time farmer? Yeah, that works. Not.
I do not know, because I at one time had one bunny, and I have two dogs, but that bunny, one little bunny was constant work, where you got to go somewhat clean the cage. And now he's hungry. Now it's this. Now it's just a bunny. So I don't know how you do it.
Was it a fiber bunny?
No, he was, Pam, our stepsister Pam, found bunny somebody just let this bunny go in their backyard.
Oh, wow.
He was white and black, so he's not a
native.
Yeah, not at all. And we had some little tiny bunnies, Angora mixed bunnies, they all died. And so Shelby really likes bunnies, and so it turns out we were bunnyless at the time, and she said, hey, you want this bunny? And I thought, oh, right. So we live in Wisconsin, and so for some crazy reason we met her halfway between where she lives in Nebraska and where we live, and we met in Iowa. And we brought this bunny home, and we had him for probably 6 or 7 years. And this is the first winter without a bunny for a while.
Oh, wow. Oh, that reminds me so much of a friend of mine who still lives in Kansas. She was a grad student at Kansas State at the same time I was, and she had a pet bunny, and there were so many fun bunny moments.
He was so cute. He just an adorable bunny. And looking back at it, my favorite time of the day was going out in the morning with carrots and giving morning carrot, because he enjoyed that carrot as I've never seen anything. Love carrots so much. And I miss that. And my dogs eat carrots, not as daintily or as cute. So that, but it's nice not having to go out and. He would stay outside unless it got really, really cold. Then we'd bring him in. But he was kind of a messy bunny. So, and the dogs did not like him. And they knew where he was around somewhere. They knew if his cage was here or there. And they didn't have any of that. So,
oh my gosh.
Yeah. So we always had to winterize him. And that was hard. Keeping his water from freezing. And
yes.
Yeah.
My barn has no electricity or running water. Hi, Kitty.
Oh.
So, are you coming to say hi? So I'm getting tired of dealing with ice and.
Is that my niece?
Which one are you? Oh, Tana.
There's 2 of them running around there right now, right?
Yes. And I have to know what there for a while they were inseparable, and now it's like one's upstairs and one's downstairs, and
Well, now you also have to touch on what has happened to you. Now you've hurt yourself, and so you're kind of couch bound somewhat. Why? Which we can't go on a tour of the farm today because
one of these days we sure can. I would love to, if this device will stay on the internet, on the Wi-Fi, we can find out what its range is. I hope to be able to take the iPad out and mobily get pictures. If not,
yes, but we had emergency today, so
you did.
You did.
Oh yeah.
Physical emergency.
I just posted a picture that my mother-in-law took of me sitting on the couch with the ice over my ankle, and one of the kittens is laying between my foot and the pillow and it's purring the entire time.
Oh,
it's so cute.
I love it.
But what happened was, for some reason, both dogs, I have a Border Collie Australian Shepherd Cross. I call her Bossy for Border Aussie. And then she's Patches. And then we have a chocolate lab boy, Mucky. All of our recent pets are requiring Malagasy names. Since again, my husband does research there every summer.
Wow.
I think he's gone for a quarter of each year.
Really?
Doing his science stuff elsewhere.
Is it always Madagascar area?
That's always summer, and then he does a Jan term trip with students. We have a tropical marine bio class that he takes them down to 2 Caribbean islands that have biology stations, and that's cool too.
Gee whiz.
People always ask me, don't you want to go? And it's like, it's not a vacation. Help keep track of 16 undergraduates and their passports and make sure they follow all the rules. That's not what I want to do.
I mean, I have 3 kids in college right now and 1 out, and yes, that would be tricky. that would be a tough time there.
Just the number of stories he's collected over the years.
Yeah, and other people's children, I think.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, way scarier if something went awry, for sure. Yeah.
Are there 1 or 2 of your kids that are bio or biochem? Did I get that right?
I have two. One, well, Shelby, our daughter, she is number 2 child. So she's a biology major. Well, she's in grad school right now. So she's already graduated. She graduated from Oshkosh. And she should get her master's in the spring, I think. I think she's on.
That is so cool.
So, yeah, she's doing things with water. So
okay.
I don't know a whole lot of the extent on that. So, but she has a plan, so that's good.
All right.
And then Tommy, our 3rd kid, he is going to graduate December 15th, coming up here, and he's biochem.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So, oh my goodness, biochem.
Yeah, and I don't know. He's been so busy with papers and tests this last 3 weeks that he's kind of getting into that job searching mode.
Oh boy, yes.
Trying to stay afloat from all the tests and papers. So yeah, we'll see where he lands. I don't know. Yeah, it's gonna be.
I was just realizing I haven't seen Sean. Well, Sean is the only of your kids that I've actually seen in the flesh, and that was when he was little, and you were in Salt Lake City.
Yeah, we lived in Utah for a time, and so Sean's our oldest. He graduated. And let's see. Well, that's been a bit. It's been a few years, and I'm really excited about doing this podcast because we get to connect. We get to. I mean, with everybody's busy lives and things, we haven't been able to be super close as family, sister type. Right. And so this is so we're gonna get to. It's great. Well, just off the little subject of it, our mom passed away. It was April. Yes. For anybody if anybody watches, I don't know. But so we were all of us able to. Whoops.
That got my kitten's attention.
Really? That is a mail truck, right, going on. Mail people are very dangerous around here, I guess. They need to be barked at very heavily. We'll give them a second. Hey. Oh, yeah, they're going to start barking. Come here. Let's go. Yeah. Sorry about that. Yeah. Well, anyway.
Now I can relate to some of the people who do podcasts of like, sorry. Well, that's my child or the baby or the dog.
I mean, they were totally sleeping when we started this. And now every sound, somebody drove by with a big truck, and now they're, super interested. So, well, anyway, so our mom passed away in April, and, we were all able to get together, and it had been a really long time.
Yes.
Sometimes those kinds of things do bring people, around again to kind of connect and see, and everyone's just doing their own thing, and who can blame them, right? Yes. It's just how it is. So, but I'm just excited that we're going to get to share this thing that you and I have, this connection with craft, yarn.
It's the best idea one of your best ideas, and you have. I don't know. Do you have bad ideas?
Oh yeah, that's why. It might take too long to explain, but yeah.
No more throwing the Barbies out of the upstairs windows.
Yeah. Well, there are many stories about our childhood. We had a 2-story house growing up in Nebraska, and again, Sisters of the Corn. That's where we're getting our title from. When we were little kids, our sister Deidre and myself, we weren't supervised, and so we thought it would be a good idea to throw Barbies out of the window because they needed to go high diving, I guess. And this comes around every now and again when we get together, all the sad, embarrassing things that we thought were really good ideas. But
Really good ideas.
yeah, it was probably not the best plan. But gosh, it was and our hammock would fill with water, so the Barbies would launch out the window and land right in that hammock. It was a great time.
Oh
yeah.
yes.
I think that was a bad idea. I don't know.
With the idea of reconnecting, for some reason, I don't have any memories of you knitting at the time.
No.
How can that be?
Yeah, I didn't start knitting until, well, I was mostly a cross stitcher. I would do cross stitching, embroidery, sewing. I'm very into sewing. Just going through the years, and cross stitch was my thing. And then I met Dave, my husband, and of course that is him. And his mom is a very, very amazing knitter. And when I met her, I kind of thought, that's really cool. I have memories of you knitting or crocheting. I don't recall exactly. As a maybe knitting. Or maybe as a senior or something in high school. And I also, our grandma, she would do every kind of needlework, yarn, whatever the craft would be, she would do. Yes. Our Aunt Norma, she would do. So I always was curious about it, but I never tried it. And then I met my mother-in-law, and I thought, gee, that's pretty cool. And I just started getting every book I could find, what there was limited access to on the internet then.
Right.
More than 28 years ago or so. I just tried to do everything I could, and I just kind of taught myself how to do all that. And led. I went to open a yarn shop after that, right? That's a normal thing, isn't it? So
that's so cool.
That's a bizarre twist. And so I did that, ran a yarn shop for, gosh, I guess it was almost 6 years. Yeah.
Okay.
And I did that as kind of a hobby thing. And I stepped back from that store because my kids were into everything, soccer, you name it, the sports and things. And I would either have to hire a whole bunch of employees and not be there, which wasn't what I wanted to do at all, or just step back from it for a while. And so I thought, I'm just going to keep doing my thing, but not in a brick and mortar type kind of an atmosphere. Okay. Yeah, so I still had my Etsy store for a lot of years. I didn't do a whole lot in it, but now I'm getting back into it a lot. Yeah. Now that the kids are in college, there's a whole lot more time for it. So, but now I'm into dyeing. I'm into dyeing yarn.
That is so exciting.
Yeah. So that's
if not this time, I can't wait to ask you about your dyes and your methods. I've taken one class, and I've been playing with the dyeing now and then.
Yeah, I feel like I've been doing it about 3 years.
Okay.
The first 6 months was Kool-Aid, whatever, Easter egg dye, whatever I could find, and just dabbling in it and thinking, well, that was fun. And trying to get a little more business-like about it now these last probably 15 months or so, I guess. Okay. Yeah, but it's been fun.
The Sunday yarn that's just so cute. It's so gorgeous.
Yeah. So my Etsy store is Yarn Sunday. And now, do you have an Etsy store for your wool?
Not yet.
Not yet. We kind of talked about that a little bit when we were together in April, and you had said, well, I know you do Maryland sheep and wool. You have your wool there. And
right now that's pretty much my only outlet, or the women that were in my knitting group, I paid them in wool when they came to shearing to help. And
I'm gonna reach over here. Bear with me a second. Reaching over here. I have what you gave.
Oh,
I have some. I'm working on a sweater right now. Let's see if I can. I haven't gotten very far, but I can show you. Let's see.
Oh my goodness, that looks great.
Yeah.
Nice.
So that isn't very far at all.
Yeah, but it's color stranding.
Yeah. And
is that Fair Isle?
It's just
just regular old
regular old
color stranding.
girl carrying it along, and I'm almost done. This is called, is it Buds and Branches? I always mess up the name of this pattern where I want to be like branches and buds. I'm not sure. I'll have to look that up for the exact name of it. But a friend of mine made this sweater, and she made it short sleeved. And
Okay.
so I always kind of get that way with sweaters. When I get done with the body of the sweater, I just feel like, I'm done. I want to be done. And so I get stuck on Sleeve Island. I've heard some people say Sleeve Island.
Okay.
And so you may notice this sweater. So this is I made this sweater.
Oh, cool. Look at the pretty
how
gold.
I stopped right there. I just wanted to wear it, and this one's kind of rolling up a little bit, but yeah. As far as I wanted to go with that one, so.
Let me reach over and do the same thing with a sweater that it's still not done. I think Randy can tell you how long it's tried to exist.
Yeah.
I honestly don't know how. So if I can figure out how to, I'm going to put you here on the little table. Does that work?
Yep, that works.
So this is the back.
Oh, wow.
And I've triple stranded.
Oh, my goodness.
And it's going to be, I don't have sleeves started yet. I have one of the front sides done. And you see I have my first pocket. It's not totally done, but it's in there.
Yeah, it is. What pattern?
The funny part is that I feel like I'm a perpetual beginner. This is what I build up to something and then I put it down. Yeah. I am having the most trouble figuring out what it means when the sweater says, now do the right side the same as the left in reverse or whatever. It's like, my brain cannot compute. So I've not gotten any farther than the ribbing. From the bottom.
Frustrating. Yeah, that is. Well, so what is the name of your pattern?
It is called, I think, I was looking, there it is. It's called the New Englanders. It's supposed to be for beginning knitters, it says. Designed by Susan Mills. And it was originally published in 2000 issue of Family Circle Easy Knitting.
Oh, yes. That's awesome. That's awesome.
And Randy loves his cardigans, or is that what you call them? Yeah, there's definitely sleeves in my future. Probably my first buttonholes.
Well, and you mentioned steeking. And, I'm afraid of steeking, I guess. I mean, I've seen a lot of people doing it lately on podcasts that are out there, and a lot of them say that if you have a yarn, kind of like this, if you steek your first project with a yarn like, more that has a bit of a grab to it, then you'll be okay. And so
it will slip away.
Yeah, or if it's a real smooth, slippery thing, it's gonna pop out. It's really.
I watched one of the women, Amy Clark, was doing her first steek, and she took classes. I think she went to one of the I can't think of the name now. That's funny. The Manning's studio that used to be just up the road, which was fantastic, a place to take classes. You could take a week-long spinning or weaving, etc. She was doing her first steeking, and when she started doing the cutting, we're all like, no.
I mean, I feel sweaty thinking about it, or
I'm going to cut threads, then my knitting, this can't come out well.
Do you like to make socks? Do you ever knit?
I have. I think I have made 3 pair, completed 2 pair, and have another pair on the needles. That's actually not my yarn, but the first 2 pairs of socks I made were my wool. It was a soft gray color. I can tear my fleeces apart and
really,
or just have the mill process them all at once. But you can get dark gray or light gray, or use the white or the black, which some mix there. Where was I going with this? So I made this sock yarn. the Zeilinger mills up in Michigan
Oh,
made the yarn that I use in some percentage nylon, so they'd wear. And I had a number of friends, again, this same wonderful Amy Clark made a bunch of those socks for her father, and he just loved those, both the yarn and the fact that she made his socks for her. But
well, so
one of those socks I did for the very first time as two socks at the same time.
you did. So you do the magic loop. Is that what you like?
Yes, it turned out to be just the coolest thing.
Really neat. So that mill is is it Zeilinger? Is that what you said?
I think that's how they pronounce it. Yeah.
I feel like I've heard of that. Is that where you send your wool, or where do you send?
I have in the past. I haven't sent any for a while, and it desperately needs to be done because I don't have a lot of inventory for the festival next year.
Oh,
But it's in Frankenmuth, Michigan, and they come down to the festival with a truck, and you can turn your wool in, and then they ship it to you.
really? How cool is that? I always wonder that because I know my mother-in-law struggles with, what do I do with all this now?
Right. And that's
She,
an issue for a lot of sheep people.
yeah, she went to a place called Blackberry Ridge Mill, I think. It's in it's in, I think, Verona, in the, by Madison, kind of.
Oh,
yeah. And then there was another one that's kind of by me, maybe 45 minutes away. I think it's called Hidden Valley. I think I'm not sure. It's somewhere. It's not that far away, but but it's a struggle. Yeah, she's really at a.
There's a lot of small scale custom mills starting up all over. There's one near me that I can't wait to take wool to. I'm hoping with soon. It's Seven Falls, I think it is.
Really?
And I can't wait to get something made there. There's sometimes, like with the Zeilingers, I think there's a limit of 30 pounds, and some of the small scale farmers don't have that much. Not a problem for me.
Well, I was looking at the cost of how much it costs to process all of your wool from the beginning. I mean, do you wash yours first, or what?
I have not. No, I pay for the washing, the carding, and the spinning.
Wow.
I think they're 3 separate itemized things.
That is a lot. I mean, you think about the cost of a skein of yarn, and it's worth it because all the stuff that it has to go through and that people have to do to it, it's just, I mean, it should cost.
The first time I saw like $17 to $20 a skein or whatever yarn, I thought, oh, that's expensive. But if you had the mortgage and I spend like $2,000 on hay a year.
I mean, that's outrageously, it's too cheap. It's too cheaply priced, right? Yeah. Well, and then the shipping, if you'd have to ship it to them, that is outrageous. And then to ship it back to you.
Yeah, but the one cool thing is you can pack a lot of wool in a box. It's squishy and it's light.
That is the good news. That's Well, and then I know I've seen pictures of you, and you have a lady who comes and shears your sheep, right?
Yes. Yeah, yes. Emily Painlin. Yes.
Yeah. Which I mean, do you think she's going to be at Maryland Sheep and Wool? Will she be there?
Yes. And she usually comes to our farm every March the 15th-ish around the spring break. So she comes through. Yeah. But yes, she will be at the festival doing demos, or she always has in the past. I assume she is again. Well,
that's my goal for May, is to come out there and see you and experience.
I'm so excited.
I can't wait. I want to see your sheep, and I hope it works out. I hope everything. As of right now, it's the go. So
yes,
I can't wait. But I think what I was going for with socks, I was thinking about so way back then, for heels. For socks, people cut for afterthought heels. They cut their fabric to put their or else if they have scrap yarn in there, they just tear that out. But I guess I kind of have done that in a
Oh, wow.
baby way of steeking. I guess it's kind of because you are kind of cutting.
I hadn't thought of it, but yes.
I mean, I guess.
Wow.
I don't know if that actually counts, but I didn't enjoy that. It's the stitches were so small because of size 1, size 1.
Yeah.
And I really struggled. I guess because it's so tiny and
True.
fine glass to be able to make sure I didn't drop any. I dropped a couple on the end, so gotta work on it. I gotta practice, I guess.
Oh my! I have not done anything smaller than 6, I think, needles
Really?
with I haven't done the really fine yarn and the fine needles yet.
Well, I really like doing double point socks. I really like the feel of how double points feel in my hand. And magic loop is awesome because, you can do 2 at a time. That's really cool. But there's just something about those double points that I just really like. But
Oh, yes.
Not very fast. I'm pretty slow at it.
The frequently mentioned Amy Clark was, again, the most advanced knitter in our group, I think. Did lots of things on double point. She was the first one that did the magic loop thing.
Yeah.
And she said she did her first pair, I think, all the way to that. And she said the next time she actually went to double pointed instead of doing the
Really? Oh.
that for just the heel.
Yeah. Well, I've picked up, there's a very tiny circular needle, and it's about this big. I think it's 8 or 9 inches. And sometimes I'll do that just to do the body of the sock or the leg or the foot. And then I'll use my double points for the heel and the toe. And I kind of like that because then you don't have to worry about if you drop your double point and where did
Yes.
Lots of you in bleachers at sport games and things, or in the car. My double points anymore. Somewhere there's a whole pile of missing double points. I wish I could find those.
Oh man, yes.
That's wild.
Yes, traveling the needles. I came back from parasitology meetings in Scotland. Oh. And some security alerts somewhere had happened, so they made everybody do check. They wouldn't let anybody do carry-on. They wouldn't even let you have a paperback. Really? So I had to put my needles in my luggage.
No.
So really, you're not going to let me knit on a plane?
Oh, no. What did you do?
I think I napped.
That's terrible.
After all of those meetings and listening to all of those talks, like 10-minute talks all day long, sleep was good.
Oh, well, so have you been to the big festival, the yarn festival in Scotland?
I wasn't there then, but whole European world looks cool.
Yeah, wouldn't that be fun to go to? I don't know. I think it's in March.
Oh, wow.
Sure. Yeah, it's in Edinburgh. I don't know. Edinburgh, maybe.
Yeah.
And tons of people are going there, and gosh, that'd be so much fun, wouldn't it? Wouldn't that be?
Oh yes.
Yeah.
That Randy, my husband, is very carefully explained to me. Okay, when you work, you have money and you can go on the trip. But now you're not working, you don't have money. You still can't go on the trip.
Oh. There must be a way.
There must be a way.
There has to be.
I had no idea there are international cruises. There are entire traveling trips to all fiber centered. It's amazing.
Have you heard of Stephen B?
I have not.
Knitting personality, Stephen B. He's located in Minneapolis, and that's only 4.5 hours away from me. And so I've been back there he has a shop, and he's very colorful, very amazing, and he has a cruise. I know.
Oh wow!
Imagine he's just so full of joy, and you just want to hang out with him and knit.
Oh yes.
He brings just a whole world of motivation for you to finish your projects and to take a chance and maybe knit with a wacky color that you wouldn't normally.
Exactly right.
To be adventurous in your knitting, so that's
what I miss from my knitting group. falling apart was just getting together every week, and I can't imagine going together to some other place. That would just be too much fun.
Well, yes, I have some friends of mine from my yarn shop that I met there. We've stayed close, and
Good.
we just went on a knitters weekend. It was 2 weeks ago we went, and we went to a place called Cedarburg, Wisconsin, and we just went to eat on a Friday night, visited a yarn shop. We stayed in a hotel, and we knit and knit all night long. Well, as long as I all night long is like 10:30. Get sleepy.
Oh yeah.
And then the next day we went to Cedarburg, which doesn't have any yarn stores, but we just spent the day together. And we are always talking about knitting. It doesn't matter if we're not looking at knitting. Yeah, it's pretty wild. And
there's a summer knit-in thing that happens in August, I believe, that we used to go to the Mannings, and all these people from Baltimore and DC would come up.
Really?
And it's just, can you imagine the multiple acres of knitters and who knows what else? Everything. There's spinning wheels floating around, just hanging out for the whole day.
That's so much fun.
And if you got tired of knitting, you went in and shopped.
Which is so much fun. I mean, you can't even forget. There are so many different ideas from basic, we'll call it just string. How is it that so many people come up with ways to spin it, ways to, dye it, ways to how thick it is? I just can't even believe it. And it never gets boring. It's pattern. Yeah, and all the patterns that are out there, somebody throws a different pattern into a basic mitten. Now it's a new mitten. Oh, just so awesome. Yeah.
I was just rereading some of Stephanie Pearl McPhee's Free Range Knitter, and she was talking about when she was growing up and couldn't afford to buy yarn, she'd go to the Goodwill or secondhand store and actually rip apart like cashmere sweaters into balls of yarn and started them over. I can't imagine.
And I was thinking about if you were stranded on an island, what kind of things would you take with you? And if you had something that was stick-like, you could be entertained. You could find whatever materials, and you could put it together. You could totally do it. Yes. And I think that's amazing. Whatever it takes. You're never going to be bored. You never have an excuse to just sit there.
Randy has told me more than once that he'd like to buy land down in the Caribbean. I'm like, what kind of sheep can I raise in the tropics? Well, there are pear sheep that are mainly meat sheep, but it's like, that's not the same.
I know. We do have some friends who their kids grew up and they said they were going to move to Arizona, and they just wanted to get out of the cold weather from Wisconsin.
Sure.
And I thought, man, that sounds pretty good, but I would really miss the seasons. I really love fall, and I love wearing as many layers as I can. What else can I stick on? I mean, summer's great and everything, but man, piling on layers, not a bad thing.
Yes.
Seeing the different colors of the fall is so beautiful. Can't miss it.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Fall, and the thing about living here on the East Coast in Maryland and Pennsylvania, their fall and spring last so much longer than they did in Nebraska, where you get what, 1 day of each?
Well, I feel like it was 100 or -30.
Exactly.
That was.
I don't miss that at all.
And it's pretty windy too. There's not a lot to stop. Not a lot to stop it. I mean, I remember when growing up in Nebraska, and then I moved to Utah for a while, and going from humidity, huge, drenching, gross, wet, sticky humidity to nothing in the desert was so far. Yeah. And then we were in the mountains, and it was great. And then you move to Wisconsin. It's pretty humid here, but not like Nebraska. It's not. It's like they're a big, huge oven, and we're just a little mini oven in the summer.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, someday I'd like you to see. It's not Maryland Sheep and Wool Fest, but Wisconsin has Sheep and Wool Festival.
Okay.
and it's the day, let's see, the weekend after Labor Day.
Okay.
It's held, and it's probably, I don't know how, I hear Maryland is attended very well. I don't know what the attendance is at Wisconsin, but it's pretty good. Yeah.
I
There's,
think all the festivals are in really decent shape these days.
yeah, yeah.
Growing.
And it's fun 'cause they have dogs that are doing their thing. They do shepherding things
Oh,
out in
yes.
the fields, and then there's the sheep judging, and there's two barns of vendors. So you probably have more barns of vendors there, but it's a good
Oh,
time.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
it's a,
think it's 5 or 6 barns of vendors and 3 of sheep.
oh, it's way bigger. Yeah, that's like
And now they've got people in tents out on the open areas.
really.
And
Oh,
it just keeps growing.
oh, I'm so excited.
Have you ever watched a sheep to shawl contest?
Not from, I've seen parts.
Yes.
So I really like to see that as well.
Yeah. I haven't stayed for the whole thing, but the parts I watched is just incredible.
I
And I
can't.
guess they get together and practice as a group often.
Wow. That's so crazy. Isn't that amazing that happens? I love it.
Yeah.
They have a new contest now at Wisconsin Sheep and Wool where it's a walking contest where you are walking and knitting. And I'm not sure what the object is. Is it to knit the most in the most distance walked? I don't really know. I don't know the rules.
Wow.
But you're mobile. You're knitting, walking, and I don't know if it's going on a course that you're supposed to get to the end of the course. I don't know, or if it's
Oh my gosh.
not sure what the how you win it, but
Oh my goodness.
I feel like that's dangerous because I'd probably
Yeah.
down and
I have trouble walking and talking. Knitting and walking.
risky, doesn't it? Knitters
When you first said that word, I learned about something called walking, WAULK, which has got to do with, I think, basically felting yarn, or like apparently they used it to make like the Scottish tartan kind of a thing.
Oh, really?
I actually learned about it from Outlander,
Oh,
from
really?
the companion book on that.
Outlander. Ooh, I've seen one weekend we got Showtime channel for free.
Oh,
And I caught a few episodes of the Showtime's Outlander. And I was a little confused because I hadn't read the book or anything.
right.
I didn't really know what was going on.
I read one book and thought, that's it, I'm done. It's just too dark. I can't read another. But then I really wanted to read more about the characters and read the next book.
And
I
then
wasn't sure I'd want to watch it because, again, it's just.
Have you ever watched Game of Thrones?
I have not. It's too violent. I'm a weenie.
It's so violent and so everything bad, and I watched every single one of them. What's wrong with me?
Well, one of my friends, Betty Rossi, who moved away to Florida, another knitter, she gave me a videotape. This tells how long ago this was. It was a horror movie featuring attack sheep. I don't think they were zombies or something. I'm like, I can't watch this. Do you know how many times I go out at night in the dark with my headlamp and see the shining eyes? I can't do it.
Oh, that's scary. That's really scary. I go out with my dogs at night to take them out, and I start thinking about things. And one night I heard owls, over here.
Oh, yes.
And I thought, oh, and everybody says, well, your dogs are big, but I'm not sure they could handle some of the wild animals out there. Mountain lions and things and cougars.
Oh, yeah, that's serious. Big animal problem. Wow.
Uh-oh. Let's see.
I'll let that one go.
Oh, is that
answering machine? The only people that call the landline are the solicitors or whatever anyway.
Oh, well, we've kept our landline, I guess kind of for that,
Yeah.
and they won't bother us on our other.
And after we witnessed the failure of the cell phones, with the whole 9/11 thing, it's like, I can't have just the cell phones.
Well, it's pretty scary. You think if you're relying on just one thing like that, if there's an emergency and
Yes.
So do you want to do a show and tell?
Okay.
More show and tell, maybe? Do you have any other projects there that you want to show?
I do have more. Let's see. I think I'll just not at works, but would you like to see my the roving made from this is an 8-ounce ball made from wool that I separated into colors. So I don't know if you can see the light in this separation. So you can see there's some gray in the middle.
I'm leaning over like this.
It's not showing up at all.
That's beautiful. I can see it closer if I go closer to the camera. You see, we're works in progress ourselves. We're sorry. Not that.
This is made. This is the washed and combed or carded, but spinners will buy this. So it's the raw, rather than dealing with a fleece, especially a raw fleece, you can buy this and then you can, tear it and draft it and do all of that fun stuff with it. So this is what we sell. One of the things we sell at the Maryland Sheeping Wool.
It's a beautiful color. Oh my gosh.
It's so fun to handle. That's one of the things about Jacob wool is it may be medium yarn. It's not fine like merino, but it's just so, it has a lot of spring to it.
Well, the yarn you gave me, just get it back out here and take a look at it. So did this come from that? Or
that it would be, they both came, both the roving and the yarn cones came from Zeilinger Processing, but they scour the yarn in some way so it's that thin yarn and you think you're getting fingering, and no, when you wash it up it plumps up.
Yes, because I actually took a tiny bit of the white color and I tried to dye it. It was kind of oh, why are you dyeing this beautiful natural color? But I was curious, and then I got it wet, and it expanded. It just pops right up, and
it really does.
Yeah, I did. I feel bad dyeing it though.
It's so many people come and want, straight from the farm stuff too. That's definitely a niche market.
Yeah, for sure. And I think you said, did you dye that? You showed me a picture of your mother-in-law's sweater, or did you or did your mother-in-law make that sweater?
She made it. She showed me the pattern, didn't she? She's here staying with me now.
I'm waiting.
Did she show up?
There she is. Hi.
So Pam is a really amazing knitter. She took the pattern that I forget. I think it was for crochet. And she modified it on the fly into a knitted pattern. Basically, my role was just she showed it to me, and we were trying to calculate how much it would cost to buy that yarn. Really? And I said, I think I can dye. I can match those 4 colors, and we did. We managed it.
Wow, it looked great. Yeah, you have to send me a picture. If you can send me that picture again, I can put it into our little video and we can show it. Yeah,
it was gorgeous. And the accidentally on purpose part was that I tied some of the skeins too tightly when I dyed. So I got this beautiful tweed thing, and it's like, I did that on purpose.
I saw it because it was every little, I guess you'd say a square. Yes. You had a little bit of white, but it was perfect. It was absolutely perfectly done.
I think I may have said, "Oh, I'm sorry, Pam. I made a mistake." She said, "Oh no, it's perfect. Look, you meant to do that, didn't you?"
It's funny. I have a skein of yarn. Let's see. I'm gonna just get it out. So I just made a hat for my Shelby, and so let's see.
Pretty. Oh yes.
See all the
purples. Yes.
And so what this was, I got in some. I was playing with mixing colors, and so I had a skein of just a yarn, and I was just throwing it on this skein of yarn, and this is what came out of it. And I thought, oh, that's yucky, you know, whatever. And it's my most favorite possession right now.
Oh, yes.
I made her a hat.
Oh, yes.
I can't believe how much I love it. And so I tried to it a little bit. And so I did. I got pretty close, but okay. So here's, I don't know if you can.
Oh, wow. Nice.
I don't know if you can see it, but
yes,
so this is
that's great.
This is the trying to do it again. It's a little bit, it's pretty close. It's maybe not exactly, but you know, that's.
Oh, yes, that's nice. Nice.
Your best mistakes. I mean, ought to be your most favorite thing. Isn't that wild? Yeah.
Well, I remember one of the spinning teachers I had when I was first trying to spin, and you get, you know, thick, thin, all breaking, you know, all of that fun stuff. Yeah. And she says, someday you'll want to try and reproduce that, because there's I can't think of the name of it, the yarn, novelty yarn that has, you know, slubs and slugs and all, I don't know. And I was like, really? And do that on purpose? No.
The big and the little big bumps and yeah. Well, I am not, I have a spinning wheel, but I have spun nothing. It's sitting there looking really cute. And I have not done anything with it. So maybe I'll have you show me if you get 5 seconds when we go, you know.
Yes. That's one thing I need to do. I have a new, I can't think of what, a new drive band I need to put on there. And it's not been doing anything lately, but I'll show you a little bit of the yarn I made, and it was just perfect. I know it'll probably take me a year to get back to that level.
Well, I mean, I get confused where here's this big long thing, and now I'm going to, you know, bust it up into tinier parts, and then it's going to be, how is it all going to go into that and not be a big lump? That's where I'm very confused by it.
One of the few toys that I haven't justified the expense yet is to get a carder. What do we call it? I can't think of the name, but it's basically a carder that can give you like 4 to 8 inches or even 12 inches of the rope from the raw fleece, or the washed fleece, and it's fun to blend and play with. But you know, $350 to start.
So much. Why is it that all the cool equipment and, you know, gadgets so much? It's no fair. Yes. 2 sticks.
My loom is up there being a cat toy. So.
There's a picture in our opening that has your cat's loom in there, but you've done a lot with that loom, haven't you?
Well, basically, I've just made that one scarf, and that one that I think it was was that in your intro with the gray and white striped scarf?
I think it's
that I was wearing.
It might be. Yeah, when you're shearing, is it when you're shearing, or when you were, or when you're counting the sheep?
Yeah, that's probably yes. But I've got I at least have the warp on, which you know means what do you call it? The vertical, I guess, is to make it the whole width that the loom can go, which I think is 22 inches. And then I was going to make it like 12 foot long as opposed to like 2 or 3 feet.
Really?
Yeah. So I just need to finish getting the looms. It took me the first time 3 days to set up the loom and like 3 hours to make the scarf.
Really?
So
that is a while to set it up. That's like, I don't know. I lose attention.
Well, it wasn't all at once in 3 days, but
yeah. Oh, well, so are you on Ravelry?
I am, though I'm not sure I even know my own password anymore. But yes, I really have enjoyed that. I don't know why I'm not on more often.
Well, I have to just tell you, I got a quick look at my phone to see the actual name of it, because Ravelry has come so far in the last few years. But
it really has.
There's a new app, a companion app, that my friend Jenny just told me about it, and I downloaded it, and I can't tell you how much I love it. I love it so much. That's how much I love it. So it's called Alpaca your Ravelry companion.
Oh,
So if you go and if you look for that, it is so great because it has a picture of a little green background and there's an alpaca. Let me see if I bring it up here. Well, I'm going to show you my phone. And
look at all those little
that?
red notifications.
Yes, I think it's right by my mic.
Oh, there it is. I see it.
Yeah. See?
Yeah.
It's by McDonald's and Michael's where it should
Yes.
be. And it's a little green alpaca or white alpaca with a green background.
Very cool.
It goes with your Ravelry. So your account, it links your account and you can easily pull up any patterns, what you might need to make a pattern. Oh my gosh, it's so quick. And I have my phone with me anyways, and I can pull up Ravelry wherever I'm at. But this is so much faster and really easy to see. It's pretty nice. So
I'm going to be checking that out.
Yeah. What I was thinking that we could make a Ravelry group for Sisters of the Corn if you want.
I think it's an excellent idea. Yes.
And then maybe keep in your mind, maybe we should do, a lot of people do knit-alongs with their groups. And if, think about what project would you want to do that maybe doing as a group. What would that be that we could do together?
Yes.
And then maybe we can grab some friends to do it too. And right now it's kind of hard because of all the Christmas gift making.
Right. It'd have to be after the holidays. Yes.
Hello.
It's like, sorry, we're not supporting anybody this year.
Voting's over, right? Boy, that took every day right before voting. Mm-hmm. There was a call. It's so annoying.
Oh, all the surveys. And,
yes, it's just so annoying. But yeah, if there's something, we can even just put a subject. What would you like to make? And then just see what and what would be the first. We'll agree on a project, and maybe we can do it as a knit along for our first.
That would be really cool. That's a great idea.
I mean, we could do something small, or we could do a sweater. I mean, that would be, yeah. I'm going to put my vote in for a top-down sweater. Seamless top-down sweater of some kind. Because I don't like to make sweaters unless they're seamless anymore.
Yes, I hear you. And it's just, those patterns are delightful.
Yes. I
actually have some yarn. I dyed the merino, I think it is. I don't know if it's a blend. It was my first dyeing class, and she made us put one color in that was outside my comfort zone. So very ironically enough, it was bright red. I didn't want that bright red in there. It was all these lovely greens, and it turned out great. And I had a top-down sweater made from that. I was on the sleeves, and something went wrong, and I ended up having to rip the whole thing out. And so now it's just sitting there waiting to be used again.
Really? So what is your favorite color?
Greens and purples.
Greens and purples. Okay.
We'd have fights. That's the only thing we'd fight over with my knitting group is everybody wanted the purple.
Everybody's purple. I love purple. I do love purple. And when I had my yarn store, everybody would say, "Oh, you love purple. You love purple." But I really, honestly, I can't tell you one color that I love.
Yeah.
I love them all. I don't know. I'll go with magenta. Magenta is
my another topic might be fun ideas, suggestions for projects you can't quite figure out what to do.
Okay.
I have this beautiful mink yarn. And I don't know what's too special to make from that. It needs to be something special.
Do you have a lot of yards for it?
I think I'm supposed to have enough for like a scarf or mittens or hat kind of a thing. I think I bought 3 skeins. It was at a Eastern Shore, Maryland shop that I went over to. I think it was Chestertown, something like that. Anyway, the three of us went there, and we saw the mink, and each of us got like a light, dark, and the intermediate. I think they probably made something from theirs, but I haven't yet.
Oh, I've never knit with mink. I can't imagine. What is it? Is it just like a silk? Is it
It is very silky.
like
And
silk?
I have no idea how they can even make it, but it has to be as soft, if not more,
Really?
than cashmere or merino at its finest.
Cashmere's pretty nice, isn't it?
It really is.
But there's
And one of
nothing.
those questions I've never solved are, is there a breed that is cashmere goats, or can any goat be used to make cashmere? I have no idea.
What is that answer? We'll have to search on that. I have no idea. Again, I just think sheep are breed cute.
You'll
So
have to see the parade of breeds for a little while, at least. It goes on forever on the Sunday of the festival, usually around noonish. They bring a representative of every breed there that year. And they line them up from the tiniest all the way up to the biggest, and they're all in the ring at the same time. It's beautiful chaos.
at Maryland Sheep and Wool, they do that?
Yes.
Oh my goodness. I'm so excited. Yeah,
I learned more about different kinds of breeds that exist from that alone.
Wow. And right now I can't think of any breed names that my in-laws would have. I mean, they've said them and I know I'm in their room, but I honestly, my mind is completely blank on that subject.
I'm getting the sense from buyers that at the festival that the favorite breed goes through fads. So I think right now BFL, Blue-Faced Leicester, is like the standard.
So
or Cormo. But I couldn't tell you which the sheep was if I saw it.
Do you hear that? That's my phone.
No.
You can't hear it? Okay. Again, no one calls me and my bark, nothing until this day. So, well, I'm glad you can hear it. Maybe no one else can hear it either. So, well, I do have BFL that I've dyed, and it's different. It's more, I don't want to say like a rope, but it's more rope. It's more like a rope. And I probably should have, that's probably not not a characteristic that is attractive, but I feel like it's not as springy as the merino. I feel like it's more tight, like a rope. I don't know if that's right.
And it might be something that's better for like a rug.
Oh, it's more
than for next to skin. I learned that about, I think it's Lincoln Longwool, that one of the women that I took spinning classes from had a flock of that rarest of the rare in the U.S. anyway.
Wow.
And it's lovely yarn, but again, not to wear.
Yeah, I really thought I was in love with BFL, but I think it was because I heard everyone talking about it. And so I really, that's probably not a good thing to do. But I mean, it was okay. I feel like I really, really like my merino nylon is better. It just feels really soft and good. And because I
think a lot of people can't start with the spinning, etc., with merino because it's too slippery.
Oh.
Which is why we get a lot of spinners coming to buy their first fleece or their first roving because it's very forgiving.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. And my mother-in-law was talking about that because her wool is a bit more. I guess I want to use the word rustic, and I don't know. It's not like a merino you buy in the store where you think, oh, it's so soft and it feels really good when it's washed and it's great, but it has a bit more of a bite to it. Where some people might not like it against their skin.
A
little bit scratchier for some people, but it is really nice to work with.
And they all have their place.
Yes, it's true. And what is best? Yeah, they're all great.
They're all great. Yeah. The woman that started our knitting group, Bobby Ward, always said, "No, there's no one right way or right thing or whatever. It's what you like."
So that brings me to a thought about which way do you knit? Do you knit, well, they say English or continental, I guess, are the two left or right-handed? Which way do you pick?
I think I throw with the right.
Do you do it?
I can't remember which one that is. I can't remember which one's continental. signed up for one of those Crafty classes.
Yes.
To try and learn the other way, and I'm not ready to be that frustrated yet. Yeah, I think I throw with the right.
You do
the active hand.
Yes, I do.
Which way do you?
I do as well. The same. Where I've tried. My mother-in-law does strictly on the left. She's a picker, we'll call her.
Okay.
On the left side, she has her yarn going on the left, and she goes so fast. My sister-in-law goes really, really fast too, and I am really slow that way, and it's very loose. It's I try wrapping it around all my fingers, and I have hands that I think, and I just can't. I guess I'm just a very right-handed person. I don't know. I can't seem to grasp it that well.
It's hard once you've got the muscle memory for one way.
It's hard, but it feels good on this side, so I can't not. When felting was really big and everybody was doing things to felt, I really, really tried hard to do that on the left side because it didn't matter if it was loose, because then you just shrink it anyway.
Oh, that makes sense.
And it looked like garbage. It didn't look anywhere near what was a good thing.
It's the thing that we used to call when new spinners, often undergrad students would join our group for a while and then they kind of float away. But they said, well, it always looks so relaxing. But for the first 2 weeks, you're like, there's nothing relaxing about this part.
I remember getting my first set of bamboo needles, and I was kind of a tighter knitter at first, and I actually kind of made dents in the ends of my needles where I broke the wood because it was so tight. And then I switched over to Addy turbos and metal, and they would just fly. And then now my knitting's always, I would call it kind of I'm a looser knitter.
Yeah. It's funny how that can vary on the same project from day to day sometimes.
Well, when they'll say, get your gauge, do a swatch, and I always know that I drop down probably 2 needles to get gauge for things. And do I do a gauge sample? No, not every time. Do you do that?
I have for my sweaters.
You do
the horror stories of ending up with something to fit an elephant or a hummingbird. It's just
this sweater that I made, I did do it correctly, and I made a gauge. And this sweater, this was the Beekeeper sweater. I don't know if you.
Oh, right! I remember seeing you starting that.
Yeah. So the challenge was to make this in 4 days. Yeah, it was 45 days for me, probably 44, 45. And so it's kind of a looser knit. It's not super tight. So you could do it in 4 days, I guess, because people did, and I don't they're amazing.
I don't think I could do it straight.
I got distracted. My hands hurt a little, I guess maybe probably 6 or 7 hours straight one day where I didn't have anything to do. It was a weekend day, but then I felt guilty because there's other stuff to do. They're amazing people who can finish a sweater in 4 days.
Oh man,
that's amazing.
I think I've seen someone on one of those night shows that's supposed to be known as the fastest knitter. She started something and was going to have it finished for him by the end of her interview. It's like crazy.
Well, I think that was David Letterman. I remember. Maybe that's right. Yes, I remember.
Maybe it's been featured on several of them by several of the hosts, but it was like, wow.
Amazing. I don't know. I just get a little distracted. And if it's a boring pattern, if it's just stockinette stitch, I'd probably put it in my bag and forget it's in there for 2 years. It's got to have something to catch her from having my I have a lot of unfinished projects.
Yep. I've got UFOs everywhere.
And I know it's become another hobby of mine to collect skeins that other dyers. I see them making things, and I think, "Ooh, I need that. I need to have that." So I have my knitting hobby, and I have my buying hobby.
Oh yeah.
Not very good. I don't know if I should be ashamed.
Oh, I've had a couple of friends come by. I think their husband's in tow, and I would show them, this room I have this going on, and that room I have, and then I heard the husband saying to the wife, "Well, I guess your stash really isn't that big." I'm like, uh-oh. Or
Yeah.
the other time, my husband was showing someone our wool in several states, and he lifted something off the top of a box and discovered my stash of sock yarn that I had bought when I was taking. He's like, "This isn't our yarn."
Oh,
I never thought he'd lift that off the box.
see, that's been there a long time. I don't know what you're talking about. Well, with Black Friday, all of the dyers and people on podcasts and things were doing specials. And so I have a couple of things I have to show you that I picked up on Black Friday shopping that I got.
Oh my gosh.
So, okay, this one. So look at this. You will love this package. Okay. You see it?
It's a kitty cat.
You see it okay? There's a bit
And
of a...
he's knitting or
Yes.
crocheting.
So I've got this special from, so this is Yarn Cafe Creations.
Oh,
I don't know.
and that's one of the podcasts you mentioned,
Yeah.
wasn't it?
Yes, I'm a fan of them. It's this is the mom. She's a dyer, and her daughter also dyes yarn. And I think she's the dragon hoarder. That's the daughter's dyeing.
Oh my gosh.
I love watching them because they've started writing their own patterns and everything, and they dye their yarn.
Oh my.
So impressive. So I'm kind of a fan, but I got a set of her minis.
They're so cute. Minis are one. Oh, look at that blend of color. Wow. I would never have thought of that combo, but it really looks great together.
And this one, oh my, like this one, it's like green. Yeah.
That's one of my favorite combos.
Yeah. So I've been every time I watch their podcast, I feel so good. Like I feel motivated to do more projects, and
right.
I think they're so neat because they stick with what they want to make. It's a true enjoyment for them, yes. And you can feel it when you watch.
Nice.
Yeah. So that's
very good.
Then I'll just show you this. There's a cute lady this is her Etsy shop, and it's called, I don't know, Otterly Adorable Bag.
Oh, wonderful name.
And so my friends and I were watching. She had a special Black Friday sale, or maybe it was before. This is a knitting bag. Isn't it cute?
Wow. It's so cool.
A little reindeer sheep. Isn't it great? And then
that is terrific.
There's little polka dots inside.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if you can see it, but she has.
I do. It's that.
And it's called the Reindeer Sheep Drawstring Bag.
How cool is that? A reindeer sheep, yes.
And she has tags that she sews on the, so you can.
The special tag.
Yeah, and it says, it's just an otter. It's OTTE, Otterly Adorable. So cute. But yeah, but I don't know.
So clever.
It's a new world. It's so exciting, where you get a charge out of buying something that someone's made, and
yes,
it's just so great. It's just such
I don't use the markers often, but I just love some of the gorgeous markers, the little danglies that it's like I could wear these as earrings.
Yes. Do you have any there that you like? Do you have any?
They are probably upstairs. Yes, I will try and. Well, I bought some when we were at the place in Lincoln.
Oh, yes.
They were little beads.
Oh, yes, that little.
They're upstairs, so I could only bring down what I could put in a bag.
Well,
carry limp down the stairs.
Two bags over here. One per bag. I was into bags over. So you see that?
Wow! All that are those Santas or gnomes in all the little houses?
Elves. Gnomes. Yeah. And so have you watched the Fat Squirrel podcast?
I have not
You have to
looked at that
check
one.
her out. She's really cool. But these bags, when she goes to craft festivals or yarn festivals, she has lines just out the door.
Oh, wow.
People want her bags. So you have to check out her. She's great.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
So cool.
I just guess I bought stuff mostly, and I didn't really make too much stuff, but I was buying stuff.
Oh, fun.
So this is one of my.
Oh, beautiful.
So this one is called I Burnt the Chestnuts.
That's a beautiful set of colors. Oh.
So this yarn, it actually used to be I burnt the yams for Thanksgiving, but then we went to Christmas for Christmas. It makes sense, right?
Yeah, there was always one or two colors when the ladies came over we had a couple of dyeing parties, which I think at least one's involved 7 pitchers of margaritas. That's what Randy said he made. I don't remember that part.
Good times, good
But
friends.
there was a terracotta color like that everybody wanted to use.
Really?
Like, okay, next time buy twice as much terracotta.
Terracotta is the color to go to. Well, there's nothing like what happens at knit group stays at knit group, right?
Exactly.
Here's one for you.
Oh, please can I have? That is gorgeous.
This one's called Wisconsin Pine. So yeah.
Pine. Oh,
yeah,
cool.
Pine. Yeah. So those are some projects, but yeah, it's just so much fun. It's just so fun throwing.
It really is.
Yeah, throwing colors on.
I think your idea of having this podcast and doing the whole reconnecting thing, I was getting all my stuff, my bags out. I'm like, I haven't done this for a while. This is fun. It's time.
Well, sometimes I do get in ruts too, and I'll have these projects, and I think, gee whiz, you gotta get this under control. So I figure if it's on this video, I am really gonna have to be accountable for it, and I need to finish, right? I need to finish. So yeah, ability.
The retired part of me doesn't know if I can handle stress with knitting. A deadline. Oh dear.
I had timelines. You think, how long will it take me to do this? I don't know.
But I think I definitely have some projects that I need to finish. I really want to finish that sweater of Randy's.
Oh yeah. Well, there you go. Now you're accountable. Yeah, you're.
I said it. It's recorded.
It's recorded. The next time we get together, we'll just see. We don't want pressure.
I never asked you what intervals of time you would be thinking.
I'm not sure. I'm having so much fun. I don't know. I mean, we could do this. We could do this weekly, or we could, I guess we'll just have to kind of see what your schedule is like, and what do you think?
And whether the Skyping will raise your phone bill.
No, will it do yours? Well, because
I don't think so.
We'll
find out.
I'm on my Wi-Fi right now, so it doesn't. It's unlimited.
Yeah, maybe since it's like, what do they call it? The voice over whatever, VOP, VIP, whatever that acronym is.
I don't know.
I think that was one of the draws for Skype in the first place. Is that it didn't cost.
I hope it doesn't cost you. That's very bad. Then you're in trouble. Yeah.
Well, actually, I think a lot of the international students use that to. I remember some of the Asian students calling back to see family or whatever, the Skyping together, and it was a big group activity.
Well, when we went to Ireland, and I used Facebook Messenger, I think is what I did. And we just did it when we were around Wi-Fi, and I just connected with my kids then, and everything, nothing cost. It was totally free.
Excellent.
Yeah.
I think it's an old-fashioned view of communication to wonder whether it's going to add up in cost.
Yeah, I think it's I'm pretty sure it's free. I hope. Well, you'll have to tell me. I know my Wi-Fi is free. Except for that monthly bill. That's all.
That's right.
Oh, my dog Buffy wanted to come over and say hi. Come here, Buffy. Want to say hi? Well, I can't turn the laptop because then you'll see my pile of stuff over there.
She moved out of the view.
Totally. Those are
That
out
kitten-
of bounds over there. Come here, Buffy.
That kitten behind me is still sleeping.
Here's
Oh.
her. Okay.
Hi, Buffy.
There
Buffy,
she
can you hear
is.
your name? Oh.
All right. She made a brief appearance now. Now she's happy.
I am fascinated with your sweater pin.
Oh, let's see.
It is gorgeous.
So this, can you see it's a little cup, a coffee cup?
Oh, yes.
Can you
It's
see
so
it here? I was
pretty
like,
and sparkly and shiny.
putting myself
Yes.
up there. So this, I have to look up the official name. I got it at Wisconsin Sheep and Wool. A lady there, I think it's, I don't know. I'm gonna have to look up her name. It's something like Flutterby Designs. I'm not 100%
Oh,
sure.
yeah. Okay.
Boy, they're the best shawl pins that I've ever had. They're really nice because
Nice.
it's a little stick that goes into the little spiral and it stays put.
It looks very perfect
I could,
for a pin.
I'm gonna try to. That's really terrible.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, can you
And
see?
it's the little coffee cup has little spots on it, a little polka dot.
Yes, it has little dots on it. And
That is beautiful.
I think I have 3 of them, and I really like making infinity scarves more than
wow.
because they fall. But now I can make triangle shawls or whatever shape because I can use this pin and it'll stay put. Because usually
nice.
I try to tuck them in and then they fall off, and it's kind of a pain when you're trying to do stuff.
Yeah.
So many difficulties.
Oh yes. There was one occasion when I got a regular shawl, not a like a store-bought shawl, not one knitted, I think, that I tried to wear when I was teaching. I kept getting distracted by the fringe. It's like, okay, failed experiment. I can't do this.
Well, I've made a lot of scarves of different shapes, and I try tying them, and the big triangle ones that are more of a shawl, they stay tied, but the skinnier ones, they would come undone or they'd flop around, and it's just such a nuisance. So
That's another unfinished object. I have this beautiful deep green. I think I'm trying to do a basket weave scarf.
Really?
And it's, it's wide. And everybody was teasing me. And I was like, I don't understand you and those skinny scarves. And it's not happening. It's not coming off my needles.
Yeah, I mean, in December, I really like big yarn. I like bulky weight. And I do that for all my Christmas presents and things. And everything is quick, get this done. Make this hat, do this. And then other months of the year, I like fingering weight and DK.
Yes.
DK is
total sense.
Yeah, DK has really come around to be the favorite weight lately.
Yes.
It's really funny. It used to be fingering and worsted, and now it's DK. Yeah, isn't that funny? Yeah, this sweater is DK weight.
It's definitely friendlier for beginners. I think that's DK too. Yeah. I love the honeycomb. It's so pretty.
That was pretty fun, but after a while, you just kind of were done doing that pattern.
You've done this pattern a lot. That stitch.
I want to be done. Before we end, we do have to come up with something to motivate our sister Deidre to get her more into crafts, because I know she's going to watch this, because she wanted me to tell her when we're done with our first episode. So we have to come up with something to either challenge her or motivate her or have her take a look at yarny or crafty.
And whatever she finds really interesting too.
Yes.
The first time I saw someone doing tatting, I had never heard of it. I didn't know what it was. It was like, huh.
I know she did some embroidery and maybe some cross stitching. I think she did that, and latch hooking, because we all did latch hooking as
Right, we did.
Our dad is the king of latch hook rugs. He is like the most amazing latch hook rugger guy.
It's so true. Oh my goodness, I'd forgotten about that, but oh yeah.
I remember as a kid, you wake up in the morning and he's been up since 4:30 doing his latch hook rug.
Yes.
And he is a machine. He just and he doesn't get up very often to do anything else. But
it sounds like he's slowing down a little bit. He only gets up at 6 or 7 to start with his sewing.
He's been sleeping in to 6 o'clock in the morning. Yes. And now he's a quilter. Now he's quite a fancy quilting.
Oh. So something for Deidre.
Yes.
And it's fun to all the people that I've met over the years. It's like a lot of people have a favorite. They're either a crocheter or a knitter. There's some that can obviously do both, but they all seem to have one favorite or the other. So she might be one blunt stick instead of 2 sharp sticks kind of person.
Sure. And we'll just have to give her a heads up that we're talking about her and try to come up with something that, because we wanted her to join us on here someday. Yeah. Because the memories and all of the times like that is really great. Yeah.
We could consider one of the sampler type projects where there might be different patches of stitches.
Yeah.
Not none of the too fancy ones.
I hope she'll play along with us. We just want to, just humor us a little bit.
Or she can hang out and be the voice of sanity and reason.
Maybe we could do an experiment where we try to teach her online here or
that'd be fun.
Wouldn't that be something to see if we could give her direction on how to knit via Skype?
Yeah.
That would be something, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I'm going to have to try and talk my mother-in-law Pam into doing something too.
Yes, and then also Randy, because
she says what?
All of a sudden she's become part of the podcast. Well, I also don't know is this officially a podcast because it's a video. So I don't know.
I've been wondering about that. If I was using the wrong word, since didn't you say they were YouTube things specifically?
Is it a video blog? Is that what we were doing? I don't know. I just always.
I guess so.
Yeah, I always say, no, I'm busy. I'm watching YouTube podcasts. That's what I always say. When somebody wants
if the word changed, because I was used to the. I can't even remember the first one that I used to listen to, and she'd always start that, get out your twisty sticks. It's time to cast on.
Who was that, I wonder? Do you recall?
I can almost remember the name. I think she was European.
Oh.
But it was audible only.
Oh.
Audio only.
Just like an iTunes. I mean, iTunes has the audio and it's fine. But I don't know. I think it's fun because you can show your projects. You can hold them up and share what you're doing.
It's a whole new fun thing.
Yeah, it is. I mean, we have a lot of things to work out with our, I don't know if you can hear microphone.
Yes.
Right here. I don't know if the sound quality is good.
It's good.
I apologize if it's not. I don't know. But it's fun.
I think it's wonderful. We used to do when the knitter started moving to other places, we'd have the chair with the laptop sitting there. There was some software, it wasn't Skype, but it would let you have multiple windows, like 4 windows at the time. This was been a while. So we'd always have somebody there virtually.
That's awesome. That's really
though it was hard for them they could hear a bunch of voices and it was kind of hard to pick out who was talking about what.
Yeah, that's hard I hope that people can hear what we're saying and they don't hear the background noises too much. But if anyone watches besides our sister Deidre, you think Well,
we might have to blackmail her into doing that, huh?
so to our audience member, Deidre, I hope you like this. Sorry for all the weird stuff that happened.
Our non-volunteer drafted.
Yeah, because you're related to blood. Watch this. I think my knitting friends are going to watch. So I showed them.
I was kind of hoping that I could maybe another way to reconnect is to send an email or whatever to all my former knitter friends that I just don't see anymore. That would be cool.
Wouldn't that be nice? I think that's so awesome. I just get so excited about it.
Yes.
Just thinking about all the people who I haven't seen in so long that I used to see every week from my yarn shop. You miss all that, but you lose touch. It's too bad. Well, awesome. Well, we've been going for an hour and 40 minutes.
Is that right?
How about that? That is amazing.
You're going to have a lot of fun editing. It's going to come out to be 30 minutes?
Well, we'll see. I know there's a couple of them out there that are 2 hours, but that gets a bit long. So I understand if anybody doesn't want to watch. But it's our first one, and we just went with it,
That's right.
And I think I say a lot. I caught myself.
You find that out when you watch yourself.
I apologize for that. It's a habit.
What happens on podcasts needs no apologies.
There are worse things that people could do besides saying the same thing over and over again, right?
Right. It's so true.
All right. Well, I'm going to go and start to edit.
All right.
And also work on our Ravelry group, and
I'll
send you. I was just gonna call it Sisters of the Corn, and we'll keep everything under that title, and you'll be an admin to it as well.
Okay.
You have to find your password to Ravelry.
Yeah, I have to. I'm thinking my laptop might actually have it on there. It knows it. I don't know. So if that link still works, I should be set.
I am not even sure I know my Ravelry password either. I think it's saved on there. So if I ever lose it, I'll be in trouble. And I was going to ask you, are you on Instagram? Do you do Instagram?
I am sort of, but I don't know what I'm doing.
Because I was thinking of.
I don't think I've actually put anything on there myself. It's just connected to some of my Facebook somehow.
Okay. So if I would make a Sisters of the Corn Instagram, would that be?
That would be cool. Yeah, one of my friends only does Instagram, and I'm like, and I keep thinking, why aren't you on Facebook? So it's time to develop that skill set.
I know, right? There's too many things to keep checking, and I've linked my Instagram for my personal, which is also my Yarn Sunday. It's my Instagram is my business one because I just don't have another one. I don't want to call it something else because it's Shana. It's either Shanabanana or Shanabobana. I don't know, one of the two Instagram, but we'll put that in our show notes.
Okay. Excellent.
We'll actually have show notes. Maybe not.
You're feeling energetic and ambitious.
This all could be. I might edit this all out so it won't exist. It's hard.
And I'll be the one going, but I'm retired.
Yeah, I don't do things like that anymore. I'm retired.
I'll cheer from the sidelines.
Yeah, there's no grading papers anymore, right?
Oh, please, no. Especially if they're not at least word processed. No more handwriting.
So what was your most favorite thing of being a professor and your most not favorite thing?
I think the favorite thing is getting to see all the former students again. Like they come back for homecoming.
Oh, really?
That's and hearing back from them. We actually had one student come back who's a PhD student himself now, and he's a professor at another school.
Wow.
That was just the coolest thing ever.
That's awesome.
Oh my!
That's so great.
I think the least favorite thing is what I've seen a lot of other teachers say is that you get into it, you're in your groove, you think you're doing a great job of presenting or getting or explaining or whatever, and then somebody's like, "Is that on the test?" Well, yeah. Why wouldn't it be?
Do I have to take notes on this, or is this just air?
No, I just like to hear myself talk. It's not necessary. Oh yeah, that's another one. Did I miss anything in class?
Oh, the whole thing.
So can I tell you how long I worked on that lecture?
Oh, so how long does it prepare, or did it prepare you, or how long did you take to prepare for a class, I guess?
When I first started, I mean, it was 24/7,
Really?
7 days a week. It was really amusing. The faculty handbook, yeah, there is such a thing, said you must be on campus 4 days a week. And I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to whittle down from 7. I mean, lab prep alone is going to make me be there.
Did you have a student helping you, or like grad students?
Sometimes. No grad students. We didn't have a grad program.
Oh.
At least not in biology. There's a grad program for like human, what do you call it? Management. I can't think of what the new name for personnel is.
Oh.
That we had a master's degree in that kind of thing, but no science research-based grad degrees.
Well, my daughter Shelby at UW Oshkosh, she's a grad student helper, or well, she's a grad assistant, or
oh yes,
the must be freshman, I don't know, whatever level, the beginning, yeah, probably. And she does all the lab setup and stuff like that.
Oh yes,
yeah.
I always loved that part. At the beginning, it was just all in, 100%, full speed.
That's awesome. Yeah. Well, we're going to have people refer to you as doctor because you are.
I think that came up when I was riding with some friends down to an annual meeting of the Jacob breeders, and they knew Randy was a PhD, but I guess I had successfully hidden it. They didn't realize until it came up that you're a PhD too. And I'm like,
The carload of PhD.
Yeah, I remember one of my knitter friends saying, well, like with my problem of not figuring out how to do the one side same, just the other one backwards. It's like, just work really hard. It doesn't necessarily mean I'm really smart.
You work.
Anybody that wants to work that hard, maybe smart's really not the.
And you're very smart. So. That's amazing. Do you think, will you ever go back to do research or anything? Now, I mean, you're retired, but would you be interested in just researching some things? Or
I do think about keeping up on some subjects, reading only, because that's so fun to see how the field of immunology is just, every time I turn around, something's new and big is happening.
Yeah, and
I don't know if my students are as amused as I was, but the first week of October is when they announce the Nobels, and it's always so cool. The Nobel of Medicine and the biochem physics one. So did you see it? Did you see what it's for?
Oh, really?
And they're kind of like
Black Friday. That's funny. Wow. Well, you never know. I mean, you're retired from one thing, but there's all these other journeys or options that you have. So
I think they teased me a couple times that I can come back as an adjunct and teach parasitology, because I was saying something like, "Oh, this is the last time I do this lab," or it's it's the last tapeworm lab. Oh no. And he's like, well, you could come back and teach. And I'm like, can I get an assistant to do the grading? Maybe the writing of the test, yeah.
So you could just do the flashy stuff.
Talk about the fun stuff.
Well, yeah, maybe. But just make sure it's not you're scheduled to do a podcast. You'll have
Yeah, I'm not going to be transcribing any notes.
yeah, you have to tell.
Minimum paperwork.
Well, you'll be the proofer. You'll be the oh yes, that's okay, or no, take that out.
It's so true.
Well, this is awesome. Our very first
This has been
episode.
so fun. This is great.
I did have some corn puns.
Oh.
Let me see. I was gonna see if I could throw some corn puns in there. Aw shucks. One. I think we might have a section called corn. So if you find something rare, it's a unicorn.
The unicorn.
Yes. Let's see. What else? There was
one of my students gave me a pair of socks that had a corn with little face on them. I've never seen it before, and she said I saw them and I had to get them for you. They're my favorite happy socks.
Oh my goodness, I would love to see that. Here's a funny joke. Okay, here's a corn joke. What does Chuck Norris do when he wants popcorn?
What?
He breathes on Nebraska. He's Chuck Norris, of course. He's gonna popcorn. So now your job for next time, episode 2, is you have to find a corn joke.
Okay.
It's gonna be a doozy, right? It's gonna be terrific. Congratulations. That is your.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one. Definitely congratulations.
Congratulations. Yes, well.
I think maybe you were out in the heat too much when you did that corn detasseling job.
Did you know that? Did you do corn? Did you do detasseling?
I never did.
Because I did it for one day. Mm-hmm. And then I quit.
I always heard that it was brutal.
I quit after one day. I was the worst corn detasseler in the whole world. I mean,
it's a lot of hard work.
You got to get up at 3:30 in the morning, which there's a fail. I can't. And then what? You're going to take us on a bus to this field and it's dark and wet and you have to go through and, take those. Why do I need to take these tassels off that corn anyway? Horrible.
That reminds me that, with our Kansas connections too, I lived in Rossville, Kansas when I was working on my PhD. They have a tall corn festival.
Really?
Well, they did when we were there. But Dad and Shirley came down and they blocked off the whole 2 blocks of Main Street, and there was a beer garden and dancing. And
wow, the beer garden. I think of polka fests and beer gardens and Wahoo, Nebraska, and that is a whole thing right there. Yeah. I don't know if other places call them beer gardens. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know why I've always thought that. Maybe it's some leftover from people, the German and Czech older people.
Maybe so. I'll have to ask around. Do you call it your?
That, or I'm having a senior senile moment.
No, I think
it's really what they were called.
I think it's. I don't know. Well, that is a good question. We're gonna have to ask.
And the mysteries of life.
What more?
And with that, I need
what more
corn jokes. I didn't even think about if there was such a thing.
Well, I was laying awake many a night thinking of these. Oh my goodness.
It's something like, oh, the horror, the daughters of the corn, huh?
Well, when I was that whole Sisters of the Corn thing, I would gone for a walk one day, and I get the weirdest thoughts when I'm out just walking around, and sometimes these are lightning strikes, and geez, that's perfect, Sisters of the Corn. Maybe that'll be. Yeah. It's so funny.
It is really great.
We'll see. Yeah, but all right. Well, dear sister, I think it's time that we
close our first episode.
Our first episode, and I don't know.
May they all in the future be as fun.
Oh yeah. Oh, I just saw my Hello Kitty back there.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes.
I just got a glimpse of it in the picture there. So okay, well, until next time, and
All right.
maybe we'll have a viewer or besides our sister Deidre. We'll see. I don't know.
All right.
We won't make any
Solidarity.
Okay, I'll see you next time.
All right. Signing off.
Bye.
How do you shut it off?
Uh-oh, that's a whole nother thing, isn't it?
A whole nother tech issue.
All right,
gonna try this.
I'm going to stop the recording now.
Okay.